Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. It's a matter of fact, as far as I see it, that a ton of individuals, but also important entities, businesses in the world of crypto have absolutely turned against Ripple. And I'm talking about Ripple, the company, not XRP, the decentralized cryptocurrency. And there's an attorney who put together a rather interesting and impressive thread all up on the Twitters here, which I'm going to be sharing with you. And I came across it because of attorney John Deaton. And he wrote the following. This is such an important thread and point of consideration. I will also try and make this point in a separate thread directly related to the SEC's overreach against XRP. Read or reread the recent risk alert by the SEC, then read its motion to dismiss against me. Arturo is 100. And so Arturo Portilla, this is another attorney who really just kind of, he just laid down to me what is just an incredible articulation of the state of reality and just the degree to which these entities that really should be rooting for Ripple instead, oh my gosh, it's just like they think that the SEC's never going to come for them. It's completely illogical. And I want to be clear that I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. You definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm not offering advice of any kind, not legally, not financially, period. I'm just an enthusiast who likes talking about crypto and XRP and Ripple related topics purely as a hobby, and I make YouTube videos. It is the most fun hobby I've ever had, to be real with you, but that is all that it is. And so let's jump right into this mofo right here from Arturo Portilla. And by the way, you can follow him on Twitter. He's at Arturo, ARTURO _P_A. And he wrote the following. I'm perplexed that neither Coin Center nor Blockchain Association have issued a single statement on the SEC versus Ripple, let alone fight the industry-harming interpretation of securities laws. Despite this case clearly falling within these advocacy groups' missions, and then he attached them for reference. Take a look at this. Here it is about Coin Center. Based in Washington, D.C., Coin Center is the leading nonprofit research and advocacy center focused on the public policy issues facing cryptocurrency and decentralized computing technologies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Our mission is to build a better understanding of these technologies and to promote a regulatory climate that preserves the freedom to innovate using permissionless blockchain technologies. And my friend, you just wait as I go through this thread here, because it just gets even more egregious the more information that is shared here in this thread. And here's the Blockchain Association. Why we exist. Our goal is to improve the public policy environment so that blockchain networks can thrive in the United States. Is it? Is that what it is? But you don't want to touch this one, do you? And so Arturo Portilla continues. I see no single strategic reason, beyond perhaps management bias, for these blockchain/crypto, more like Bitcoin/ETH advocates, to not fight the SEC's harmful predilection to regulate crypto through reckless enforcement actions that destabilize the industry as a whole. And so indeed, you've got to wonder, is it the case that they're purely cowards, or is it that they have some sort of ideological bend in such a way that they say down with XRP in a general sense, and they're anti-Ripple the company because they're positioning a decentralized cryptocurrency to help the legacy financial system? Because is that it? Like, all we can do is sit here and speculate, but it doesn't make logical sense given their mission statements, right? And it's not going to be good for them, though, if they think that they are golden and cannot be touched. The SEC, they may say otherwise in the future, in particular, if they're just endlessly victorious in their legal pursuit against Ripple. Anyways, thread continues. The same goes for digital asset markets. And you take the official Twitter account, Association for Digital Asset Markets. These advocacy groups describe themselves as entities created with the sole purpose to help creating adequate regulatory frameworks for digital assets, yet they choose to relinquish the single most important opportunity to shape the landscape. Yeah, I mean, if anything, even that's an understatement, because as John Deaton has articulately put it, this is the most historic action brought against a company in modern history. and I'm talking about the SEC going after Ripple, the most historic claim, a legal claim in modern history, and it's against Ripple, and it is harmed XRP holders to the tune of billions of dollars with a B. But Arturo continues here now. Coin Center, Blockchain Association, and digital asset markets have members and supporters who, in some way, either by providing trading, custody, investment, or payment services, offer support for cryptos that, like XRP, could be recklessly classified by the SEC as non-compliant securities. Notably, Ripple is not only a member of the Blockchain Association. Oh, what? So think about that. Think about that. Ripple's a member of the Blockchain Association, and they're still not lifting a damn finger. So, and then he wrote, but the association itself has appointed Ripple's Stuart Alderoty as a member of its board, and Ron Hammond, who's a former government affairs employee at Ripple, as its director of government affairs. Likewise, Michelle Bond, who's the former head of government and regulatory affairs at Ripple, has been appointed as CEO of digital asset markets. Yet these advocacy groups have failed to share any signs of concern on the overreaching interpretation of securities laws made by the SEC. If the SEC versus Ripple case isn't the perfect opportunity for these groups to actually advocate for the whole crypto industry, for a millionth time, this is not only about Ripple and XRP. I don't know what they will be willing to advocate for or under what circumstances, which is why exactly Arturo's killing it here, which is why I said either they have an ideological bend or they're cowards. Right? I can't, maybe there's a third option I've not yet considered. Fine, I'm open to that possibility, but it's something. There's something going on here. It's not like they're unaware of this. I mean, you could say that's a third option. Oh, we didn't know that this tremendous legal action was happening, so we just didn't comment on it yet. But well, we'll get on it and maybe we comment. No, that's not what's happening. Like I can't imagine what a bunch of, oh my gosh, what a bunch of Nancys. Anyway, Arturo continues. Perhaps they'll wait until the SEC launches an enforcement action against the Ethereum Foundation, but if such an event does occur, it will most definitely be too late to get involved in the matter. Diving deeper into this, it happens that the Blockchain Association has a so-called litigation working group, which is supposed to help fight legal battles that could benefit the entire crypto industry. The group has gone as far as filing an amicus brief in the Telegram case. In the amicus brief filed in the SEC versus Telegram case, the Blockchain Association expressed its concerns on the potential consequences of the SEC's regulation by enforcement approach, as well as stretched interpretations of securities laws. And my friend, when I was citing earlier in the video that it just keeps getting more and more egregious, oh yes, we're not done yet. It will, and you're about to see, it gets more and more ridiculous, more and more egregious, the way in which these entities primarily are engaging in inaction. And so take a look at this. Summary of argument. Yeah, this is the part, the highlighted part I want to cover. Summary of the argument, the one that was just cited a moment ago here. The court's answers to these questions will influence companies' decisions about whether to introduce blockchain products, investors' decisions about whether to support this new technology, and innovators' decisions about whether to base their companies in the US or abroad. Before filing this action, the SEC had provided no clear rules regarding these questions, and what little guidance it had offered differs drastically from both existing law and its position in the case. Does this not sound strikingly similar to what's happening in the SEC versus Ripple? So they're happy to comment on something along those lines, but the moment it's Ripple's touching this, now it's somehow off limits, or they didn't know about it, or they're cowards, right? Come on. It's so nonsensical. Unfortunately, it actually does get even worse, though. So if you're thinking, oh, no, if I get better, it's going to be okay, everything's not worse. No, it's getting worse. Let's continue on with the thread. Arturo continues. Why the Blockchain Association is no longer interested in being involved in these kinds of legal proceedings, despite the SEC versus Ripple case being several orders of magnitude more relevant than the ones brought by or before Telegram and Kik, is way beyond my understanding. As to Coin Center, it's noteworthy that their executive director, Jerry Brito, has been eager to share that Coin Center has actively written about why Bitcoin and ETH should not be deemed as securities, whilst highlighting that the nonprofit has nothing to say about Ripple. Let's take a look at this. This is the actual tweet from Jerry Brito. You can see here's a post where we argue Bitcoin is not a security. Here's a post where we argue Ethereum is not a security. You won't find a similar post for Ripple. We have nothing to say about it. Are you kidding me? Ripple is among the most important companies in all of blockchain, and you're not going to talk about the legal status of the cryptocurrency XRP that they're positioning as a bridge currency today that is functionally used today in enterprise-grade software, in one of the few actual use cases, and one of the few actual ideas for use case even that goes beyond the science experiment phase. You don't want to talk about that one? This really burns my biscuits. This don't make no darn sense, says Moon Lambo. But Arturo continues. And yes, it gets even worse. Interestingly, in the ETH blog post, Coin Center's Valkenberg uses arguments that could as well apply to XRP. And this might be my favorite part of this whole thing right here. Just wait till we're about there. Here, Arturo says, I'm literally unable to find any relevant differences between ETH and XRP when it comes to these particularities. Think about this. From Coin Center. Here's a quote. You could have said the same damn thing about XRP. Here's the quote, though. And no, a useful decentralized token itself, like Ether, is not a security, regardless of how it was originally sold or how funds were originally raised to build it. Again, a security is the contractual relationship between issuers and investors, nothing more. Isn't that at the core of what Ripple is arguing? And so they get it here. They're just, when they apply the same logical exercise to Ether, it makes sense. They want to talk about it. They want to scream it from the rooftops. Now apply the same critical thinking exercise, apply the same logic, but just have it to do with Ripple and XRP instead of Ethereum and ETH. And they just go running for the hills. It's outrageous. It's completely outrageous. This is not an adult approach to life, my friends. It absolutely is not. And it's going to hurt them. If Ripple and XRP are mortally wounded, it's not the end. The SEC is not going to stop there. In fact, they'll have more precedent, which means they'll have more power to move forward attacking the rest of the cryptosphere. And Arturo continues. What the team at Coin Center fails to acknowledge, perhaps deliberately, is that ETH could eventually be deemed a security under the exact same arguments made by the SEC against Ripple, and that by getting involved in the Ripple case, they could end up helping ETH indirectly. And so that is true, and I want to be clear, even though the SEC has cited verbally that Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're not viewed by the SEC as securities today, understand there's nothing legally binding there, and you have different management in charge of the SEC now, right? There's nothing that says that the SEC can't come back and be like, oh yeah, ETH, looks a lot like that XRP coin that we just took to the wood chipper. Yeah, we're going to have to go after this one too. There's nothing that says that can't happen. None of this was set in stone, which is why this is reckless of these entities. Fine, they've got an ideological bend. That would be my best guess. So they probably have an ideological bend. This is not in their best interest, though, but they're so self-destructive on this front. It's ridiculous. Arturo continues. After all these tweets and research, I'm really struggling to find any reasonable explanation beyond management bias. By getting involved in the SEC versus Ripple case, these groups could be indirectly protecting their own agendas and interests, yet they choose not to do so. Coin Center has asked for donations with the intentions to fund legal actions against overreaching government initiatives, FinCEN record-keeping rule proposal. I'm sure they would receive a record-breaking amount of donations if they were to participate in the SEC versus Ripple case. Excellent thread, Arturo Portilla. Excellent thread. And so again, I want to make sure I sufficiently give credit where it's due. I really think you guys should follow him all up on the Twitters if you've not yet done so. He's at Arturo, ARTURO _ the letter P _ the letter A. And you can find him. He's definitely not short on opinions, and I like that. It's good to get a bunch of different perspectives. So, there we are. I guess I'll wrap up here, but Jay Clayton's an asshat. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.